It's the sandwich. The sandwich is here.
We're on with the sandwich.
Woo!
All right, let's just jump right into this right now. We are here with Jared Schwartz, comedian. I just really need you to tell Sam that it's a sketch, not a skit. It's a comedy sketch.
Oh my God, I didn't know this time of day I was going to be attacked.
She's getting yelled at before 2 p.m.
Yep, alarming.
A skit is a skit is what my grandma calls it. So I mean,
that would make
if that's what you want to call it. That's I don't know. There's a big conflict in it. I'm a big sketch guy. I'm a sketch writer.
Right.
I do go with sketches. I don't know.
We had some people write in that there was a difference between the two as far as something about if it's happening, not improv. It's I don't know. I forget what he said. Oh God, I should really pull it up and just read it to you.
I guess a skit is more improvisation and a sketch is more written. Is what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
I can see that.
Literally right here.
I feel like that makes sense because a sketch you're planning and you're writing it, you're sketching it, literally.
That makes sense.
And then, if it's a skit, you're just oh, we're just going, I don't know.
Let's just walk down the block and see if we find something funny and call it a skit. I don't know. Skit's more like ghetto.
Well, okay.
If we're being honest, come on, that's the word we're beating around the bush.
Right. This is what's really alarming right now is that me and Jared went to high school together, right? Which is oh my God, how cool. You're so lucky, Sam. And I'm yeah, I am lucky. It's no big deal. But I'm not as lucky as Sam Sprete because we're going to dive right in that Sam and Jared were each other's first boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yep. Openly. Jared was my first boyfriend in middle school.
That's so funny. I'll never forget. We would do set up hookups in movie theaters, right? That's what we did.
Openly.
And I'll never forget when it was mine and Sam's week. We were in the
It was
back
our
of the
turn. It was our assigned week.
and was I didn't see you guys hook up. I need to watch you guys right now.
Wait, also, we have a strict policy, no names on the pod, so we're going to have to bleep that out.
Sorry about that. But that's why I know. I'm not big on the names either, but I could drop a few names if you want me to drop some names. You know what I mean? I'm hanging out with.
I wouldn't put it past you.
There's no boundaries with this guy. No. I mean, listen, comedy though is one of those types of things that, I was going to bring it up to you in this world that we live in now. There's a lot that, you have to watch and it has become difficult for you. Have you found it that year to year, it's progressively getting more rules, more, and being a comedian,
right.
You bring light and happiness. How's that been for you?
Right. Well, I mean, especially coming from Staten Island, it's going out to the city, it's a whole world away from, where we live. And I'm just learning, it's either adapt or die. You know what I mean? It's I'm going to still find ways to, not, to say things that I want to say. And I'm going to just learn, if I say the wrong thing, I'm hoping someone says it to me and I can learn from that. But it's
100%.
just it's either adapt or die. And, I just want to be with the times, I want everyone around me to have fun. You know what I mean? I don't want to single anyone out.
Right. You're never trying to hurt anybody's feelings,
Exactly.
And I think though, that's the best part of comedy is that it can be really absurd. And that's kind of the point. You say these jokes and it's bringing attention to something that might be a little uncomfortable. And then everyone's wait, why am I uncomfortable? And it's because that's actually kind of fucked up.
right.
But it's but it's funny.
Right.
So it works.
That's kind of how we did to this. We were all right, we kept saying things to each other and we're oh, we're not alone in those really weird thoughts. And then we started saying okay, you thought it, but we said it,
Yeah, there it is.
That's our tagline. Now, but it's really hard these days to be, there's a lot of things you have to watch out for. So from what I've seen, I haven't come to one of your shows yet, which I'm really pissed about because of damn COVID. But
it's we're throwing a whole lot. I'm very excited for the future. We're gonna have so many more. We're going to new venues. I'm very excited. We just sold out our show tonight for tomorrow.
That's awesome.
We upped it to 40 tickets. It's like the 7th sold out show in a row.
I feel like comedy club culture is like you never know who you're gonna see or like who's gonna be hanging out. Mm-hmm. So have you met anyone really cool or huge that's just been kind of hanging around the clubs?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if you guys really know the girl that I produced my podcast with, Kerryn Feehan.
Yeah,
she's pretty big on the scene, and she's been introducing me to a lot of people that like I don't know if you know. We're going to be opening up for this guy, Rich Voss. The thing with comedy, it's like the line between celebrity and like person is so thin where like you said, you just go and hang out with them, so that's what I just did. I guess one of the biggest people I've hung out with is Tim Dillon. You guys know him? It sounds familiar.
I'm gonna say
he's been on Rogan a few times. He's awesome. He's got like 300K on Instagram. Wow. Like literally after my show one day, someone who was at my show, they're like, oh, Tim Dillon follows you. I'm like, that's weird that's what you say to me the first time we ever meet, but okay.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, but I'm like, yeah, he does it. It's cool.
Yeah. That's kind of like a blue check.
Yeah. No, it is. It's pretty cool.
I got a blue check official.
Like it was funny. I have like one of these kids that one of my friends that works with me. He ended up connecting with one of the comics who was on my show, and now he works with him, and he followed him back. He's like, yo, first blue check mark, bro. I'm so hyped. I'm like, catch up, bro.
Yeah. Wait, it's so funny because I and Sam can relate to this totally. We have like a few baseball player friends that have blue checks, and like every time I like look through my likes or something, I'm like, oh wow, there's like 3 blue checks on here. I must be pretty fucking legit. Like it's just so
oh man. No, it is kind of sad how like we like I feel like this comes up at literally every episode, but like how we really do give a shit about that type of stuff. And especially people like us, like trying to get a start and
it's so surreal at times.
Yeah.
Like, you want to know what's crazy? This week on Monday, I actually did I hosted an influencer party.
No way.
Yeah. So the venue that I throw my show at on Saturdays, the Speakeasy, they were doing their own event promoting their space, and what they did was they teamed up with like this influencer, and then they have this program, and they had a bunch of influencers come, and I mean, I was a little insulted because I had more followers than some of these influencers that they brought. It was just like a good amount of models, but then there was definitely like a good amount. Like there was this one guy who's like an NBA agent. He had like 900K. He was a model. And then the girl he was with was like a porn star. It was hilarious. I was talking to him, the NBA agent. I got his Instagram, and I'm like, oh, what's her Instagram? He's like, I'll send it to you later.
He's like, you're not following her. Thanks. No.
I looked her up on his following, and I was like, oh, that's why he didn't give it. She was,
right.
She was the 2021 AVN Best Boobs Award.
Oh, good for her.
Sam, I thought that you were going to get that award. Weird.
Like,
I don't want to name names, but if you want to look her up.
You will be. Absolutely. I'm already like Googling.
That's so fun.
That's amazing. What is it? AVN Awards?
AVN, yeah. Adult Video Network. I don't know.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Wait, so porn stars get awards? That's kind of fucking dope. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's like the Academy Awards, but for porn.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Sick. Wow. That's actually really crazy.
Yeah. I wonder, like for like the Academy Awards or the Oscars, they like show like little clips like as they're like going through like.
No, they do. That's exactly what they do. It's great. You guys should check them out.
Yeah.
Wait, have you attended?
No. I mean, now that like the girl Kerryn Feehan, she's big into like, she's on OnlyFeehans and stuff like that. And she has a few followers that now follow me, and they're like porn stars and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting.
Okay, Jared, humble brag.
That's amazing. That's hysterical. I mean, I just feel like it's a totally different world. Like than I was in. Okay, this is actually a really crazy story. Uber Pool just comes out, and I'm like, great, Uber Pool. I'm gonna take it to my friend's house because I'm in college and I have no money. I would never take an Uber pool like a gun to my head like these days because it takes forever.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, Uber pools for like poors now, you know?
Yeah, and I am a poor, but I have like a really bougie personality.
Yeah.
So I take this Uber pool and I'm picking up somebody from Penn Station. And he gets in the car and he's like, yeah, what's up? Like, this is literally how the guy talks. I'm like, hey, how are you? And he's a chatty Cathy. And he's like, yeah, I moved out to California because they do porn out there and you don't have to wear protection and like all this stuff. And like literally giving me like full inside scoop. And I'm like, dude, like if I ever want to get into it, like give me your number. No, I'm just kidding.
If you're ever like struggling, I mean, you have a backup plan now.
I always say, like, what if I'm struggling at like 50? Like right now I'm struggling. I just like jump in and like sell myself. No, I'm just kidding. But like at 50, I can't do that shit. You know, I'm
What do you
honestly.
think about, what do you guys think about that?
Well, you think about what?
Getting on OnlyFans.
I like applaud anyone. Wait, what'd you say, Sam? Sorry,
I don't know enough about it. Like, I feel like I've never been on it because I don't like have money to like pay for that. Like, Pornhub is like really plentiful.
Well, no. I think he means like you being on OnlyFans, so people pay you.
I've never though like went on seen anybody's page on OnlyFans because I don't pay for it.
Oh, right, me either.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I know all about it because my friend Kerryn and like these.
So how did you meet Kerryn?
Hanging out at comedy shows.
Wow, that's really awesome. How long do you think it took you? Like, how many comedy shows would you say you went to before you feel like you started to like make a network?
That's interesting. I don't. Well, I remember like when I first started, I only went like I did my first open mic April 21st, 2018, and I did the first. I got the kick. I felt it, and I was like, all right, let me go back. I went the next week. I went once a week for like a few weeks, and I'm just like, I noticed everyone around is like hanging out. I'm like, oh, like you have to talk to these people, and like these are all friends here.
Yeah,
and it's like school and stuff like that. And so like that's the best part about school is like the social aspect of it. Right. And that's what it felt like to me. And once I started meeting people, like maybe like in September 2018 is when I really started going and I found out, like started asking questions like how do I have to do this? How often? And then it was really like, I guess like that's when I started building it. And then now, I connect people with other people. I'm just like, oh wow, I do have this network of people to connect. Yeah. But the thing is with me is like, you guys don't know, but like, so when I introduce myself, the second I get on stage, I go, what's up? Y'all trying to chill?
Oh.
And so it's like, instead of,
yes.
The whole crowd is like, yeah, we want to chill.
Either they do, they'll laugh and they know the vibe, or they won't. And I'm like, all right, well, I got to fucking work my way around you guys.
That's
and
how
you can chill with me. Right. And basically I masked the whole networking thing with chilling and hanging out. And it's just, I really figured it out. Like, I guess, I mean, I still don't know what I want, but I figured out I had a network of people like with, a year in or so. And like, you realize like, oh, this is like, everybody helps each other. You know what I mean? It's not like you're out here battling people. That's what some people do like. And it's sad, but it's like, I met Kerryn at a show, kept seeing her at shows, built that relationship. And then up in October, she asked me to drive her to Connecticut for a show. We drove, built a relationship in the car. And then next thing you know, she's like, hey, you want to do this podcast with me? I was like, yeah, of course.
That's awesome.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I love hearing those types of stories.
I just think it's like with anything in life, like networking is just so important. I knew it was important for like my type of career going into like a world that I had no business being in, like with media and stuff. Yeah. And I'm sure it's even more so for, like comedians and actors and getting your name out there and such like that. But it's funny that you say the giving back thing, because I sit there and a lot of my coworkers will laugh at me. They'll be like, oh, like she's looking at her talking to the intern. Like, like I'll make friends with them because I'm like, I don't think I'll ever forget how it felt to be that intern. And like,
oh my God, the worst fucking feeling in the world. Besides Jess.
Yeah. I mean, I'm an intern right now too. Yeah, exactly.
But like, where are you in? Are you actually interning, or are you saying like hypothetically, like for comedy?
I basically intern for Kerryn in a sense.
Yeah.
Right. Do you get her coffee? Jess gets us coffee sometimes. No?
I do get her coffee. When we went to Houston, a couple weekends ago. I had her coffee ready in the airport.
Oh wow.
Wow.
She's also like my sugar mama though. So
Yeah.
Wait,
she's rich.
speaking of Momma, where did Mama's Boy comedy come from? What made you like? Why is that your thing?
We were just thinking of names. Every show has a name.
So you're a Mama's Boy though, is what I'm basically asking.
Yeah, I'm a big Mama's.
But I have to say, and like I don't want to make it weird, but like I love your delivery. Like
I
it's
really do appreciate it.
It's very because it's really all about the delivery. Like you can say,
without a doubt.
And I think that's why I could never be a stand-up comedian because I'm like, and then I said this.
Openly laughing. Yep, laughing at ourselves.
It's not funny. And you're
if you can't laugh at yourself, you can't. What can you laugh at? You know.
Right. Exactly. I just have to like more internalize it, and that's where I go wrong. You know.
But yeah, it's definitely all about delivery. Like even yesterday, I was at an open mic, and like I said a joke. I was like, "Oh, that one didn't work. It's all about delivery," you know.
yeah, exactly. I love when comedians do that too. Like when I go to a show and like it's something just doesn't hit, and they like take out like their notepad and they're like,
yeah. Like,
here, guys.
Breaking the fourth wall is hilarious.
That's so funny. Yeah, it's so much better than like the awkward like, and then you get all nervous and you pits your sweat. You all see it and it's just uncomfortable. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It's the worst though when. I'm sure you've experienced this. Like, they're just not funny. Like, do you have people that like you've had to be like, it's not for you, dude?
Yeah, I've definitely seen that. I mean, people jokingly said that to me. You know what I mean? But you can tell like if they're joking or not. But I try not to be like, you know, what else are you up to?
Right. Yeah.
You got a backup plan or?
Right.
But does it like kind of like I know that if I just know somebody to be maybe not as much of like a go-getter or something like that, I just maybe won't like network them the way I might help somebody else. And I'm like,
exactly.
Is that
so it's like
world?
At the moment now, you know, like talking to my friend Kerryn, you know, she's been doing it, you know, 10 years or so. And she's like, you know, deep into it. It's been on TV and all that. She's like, just giving me all this advice. Like, you gotta, you know, measure where you put your time in. You know, you gotta sadly, you have to put value on people. You know what I mean? But that's just the reality of where we are. It's like, what am I going to go do? Hang out at an open mic with a bunch of losers and get nothing out of it? Or go hang out with Kerryn and her friends and learn from them? You know what I mean?
Totally.
I mean, I'm just like honored that you made time for us. Like
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Before you came on, Sam, Jared said that he has like fans, like people recognize him.
I actually just had sex with a fan a couple weeks ago too.
No.
Yeah, just only because of the story. You think I do it for?
Wait, are you serious? I thought you were kidding. Oh wait, can we hear the story? This is so amazing.
Well, it was two. I actually told. There's two separate stories, Sam. Not the one I told you.
Did anyone hear Sam's joke, or did it fall under the radar? Because that was so funny. She goes, "Do it."
Your only fan. Okay, never mind. All right, move on.
Sorry, that just really.
That's funny. You know, I had this chick come to a show. She replied to my story about how we sold out with a sad face, and I was like, oh, this girl must be in New York. She had commented on my post a while back. I didn't know her, and then I messaged her. I was like, hey, we also have the Tuesday show. Come through. She came through. Her friends that she brought made sure to tell me that she brought her tits out for me, which was. And wow. I was like, oh, so like, how'd you follow me? How'd you find me? She was like, oh, I heard you on this podcast and you just sounded so hot and I just had to follow you. And then she was in New York and she came to the show.
But she's not even from New York.
No, she was from Utah.
Yo, she flew here for you.
She has, oh my God, Jared, you have groupies, I think.
Oh yeah. I've had a few groups. I've had this one girl like a year ago.
Where Schwartz, my little Jared Schwartz.
This is not who I dated in middle school.
Well, I was a player in junior high. A player in junior high, so we hooked up with the whole group. That's just how it went.
Honestly, that's so true. Everyone hooked up with each other. It was so weird.
It was so funny. But you know, it's funny you say like I had groupies. I had this one girl like after a show offered me a drink. I was like, I don't drink. We talked for a couple hours, and then she's like, I was like, all right, so we going back to your place. She's like, I don't want to be a groupie. I was like, you're calling yourself that. I'm not telling you that. And we ended up having sex. The funny part about that is like it was me and my co-host, and we both took roommates back to their place. And as like I'm about to go have sex with her, she's like, "You got a condom?" I'm like, "No, let me ask my friend who's with your roommate." I go to check my phone. I have a text from him. Yo, you got a condom?
Oh, fuck.
Oh my God.
But she had an IUD, and her family have a foundation, so I didn't mind.
So it's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
So, okay, so you have groupies, you have fans.
Yeah.
When do you feel like this, like kind of going back to Sam's question before, like when do you feel like this all kind of happens? Like, was there one moment that you sat there and you were like, that was it, like that was my show, like I took that show?
I mean, I've been throwing the show over. Well, I used to throw it with some kid, another comic, but then we had a falling out, which it's just the business. And he was crazy though. But like once I started taking it over myself, like I really started realizing it, like probably September, like this past like October and stuff, when like things start to ramp up. I started to go to. So what my schedule was is like I go to open mics, 3 open mics a day. Then I go and hang out at 3 shows a day. So, that's and then I'm also working during the day. So it's like I've having full days, but now I wasn't working. I was just going out every night during when the pandemic hit. And once I started like hanging out at shows, people were throwing me up at these shows. So I'm like, oh, these people respect me now and they can put me on their show. And so like, that's when I really started to feel like, oh, I'm sort of making a name for myself in the city. Right. And then I brought my show back in November as just me producing it. Now I have a couple friends who help produce it. I just this new friend who just came on to help produce it, and it's really it's like I'm building a brand, and it's
so
it's
Mama's Boy is your brand, or is it like
right.
It's like Mama's Boy Comedy Club, right? So you
Mama's Boy Comedy is like the show and the brand. It's like the show and the brand. Maybe in the future it could be like a production company, but just right now it's just like the show. And
all right, so where are you like hosting these? Is it like, is this kind of when you go to a place? Is it you're like, oh, and we're gonna take out Jared Schwartz, Mama's Boy Comedy, or is it just kind of like when you host it?
If I decide like it's my show, like I host in 2 shows in the Lower East Side. Well, one's in Little Italy. That's the secret one. I just gave it away, but it's all right.
We can cut it out.
The speakeasy one it's okay. The speakeasy one's in Little Italy, and then right around the corner we have you ever heard of Joey Bat's Cafe? Great Natas. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
I feel like yes.
It's on the Lower East Side. That one's the outdoor one. But now in April, we're actually we're taking our show to the Tiny Cupboard in Bushwick. I don't know if you guys heard that. That's a venue that's really been just killing it during the pandemic. They're allowing us to come do a pop-up show, test out to see if we can bring in people and see if they want to have us back there. And then we're also taking our show to the Stand Comedy Club.
Okay, I heard that. I heard Kerryn.
So that's really big. That's like one of the premier comedy clubs in New York City. Yeah. And they're gonna be housing us, Mama's Boy Comedy, and we're gonna be bringing the show there, and I'm very excited for that. April 29th.
That's so awesome.
April 29th. Yeah.
April 29th. That's gonna be at the Stand Comedy Club. Yeah, so it's just like going there, building the connections, building the network, and just I'm very excited for that. So yeah, basically whenever I throw a show, if I'm like, oh, this is a Mama's Boy Comedy show, I'm hosting it. And that's how it will be a Mama's Boy Comedy show.
Right. It kind of reminds me of like, did you ever watch Workaholics?
Yeah, of course.
What was their little like group was called something too. It's like escaping my mind right now, but like Adam, Anders, Kevin, I think was his name. And I feel like they started kind of in a similar way where they were just like a group of guys like writing sketches, going to comedy shows, like trying to build a name. And like now they had a show, like a very hilarious, successful show on Comedy Central for like years. So you never know where it can go.
Well, that's my goal, is to write a show, get something out of it, because it's like the second you realize here's the most important thing. It's like you asked me, when did I realize that I was like doing comedy? Like the second I realized that you can't have a career in stand-up comedy is the second I realized, oh, I'm a comedian, because like I'm looking to write, I'm looking to direct, I'm looking to produce show. You know what I mean? It's not just stand-up comedy.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's
stand-up. Right.
Right. Stand-up comedy is the easiest way in the door. You know what I mean?
It's also I think it's the hardest.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
Like you nail it. It's like you're incredible. Like
standing up there, just trying to make people laugh. It's so, oh my God.
No.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
It's funny because like
my pits are sweating thinking about it.
say that again.
My pits are sweating. Like,
it's funny though, because like I'll go up and talk to a bunch of people, but then I'll get off stage and I'll just be like not wanting to talk to as many people and just be like nervous. But that's just how it is sometimes.
Yeah. I've also heard like so many times, like a lot of people say that. So like I think I was at like a comedy show when I heard that somebody said like when you get off a stage they'll be like, tell me a joke, like you're a comedian, tell me a joke. Like shut up, like it's not the way it works. Like, and then like I've also heard that like people like I think we can name drop like Adam Sandler. Like I don't think he's listening.
Oh, totally.
I think like they said that like yeah, like but I heard that Adam Sandler is like kind of a dick. Like you say hello to him, like like go away. He
was like very nice to me. I met Adam Sandler. He actually spit his gum in my hand and I threw it out for him. So
really weird, but cool.
That's interesting. Well, that's crazy. That's
like I heard that like sometimes like comedians are just, and I think that it's because they're so expected to just be like jolly, like you know, like no, like they're
also expected to be right all the time. You know what I mean? Which that's just society, and what are you gonna do? I really don't care. That's the thing. Like if people are like, oh, what if this comes out? You're gonna get canceled. I'm like, I'll stick up and I'll say what I believe is right, and if people want to believe me, they'll believe me. If they don't, they don't. It's just their choice. You know what I mean? You can't care about people's feelings as much as people seem to do on the internet. You know what I mean? The internet is not real life. That's what people don't understand.
Yeah.
It's
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I mean it always is that type of like consideration of, we edit our podcast. So, God forbid something happens, we can just edit it or, whatever. Yeah. You're literally, like we said, like this is, I mean, it's incredibly hard just in other sense, but it's incredibly hard in the sense that like what you're saying could just be like taken completely out of context and completely run with and it's just live, so I give you your kudos for that. And I
really appreciate it.
Baffled. Like I always knew like of you as like a funny guy, but even when I like heard that you were doing this, I'm like so, because you weren't like the most outrageous or outspoken. Like you were like not quiet, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You weren't.
We were. You are a year older than me, so we were different classes.
Yeah. I'm old. Like we get it. Okay.
Jared's like, you don't know me.
No, I do appreciate. I remember I was over at Sam's house a few times.
Yeah, my house was the place that everyone would cut, and we'd walk to my house because it was right around the corner from school. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like drink my mom's wine, and like she would like pretend like not to notice. It was bizarre, honestly. Yeah.
So I'm wondering, what made you get interested in the first place? Like when were you like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking go to a comedy club and just do the damn thing. Like what pushed you?
What happened was I went on Birthright and the free trip to Israel, and I went on Birthright. And when I went on, Birthright really changed my life, because when I went on Birthright, I made friends with kids who go to school in New Orleans. They go to Tulane University, and so I went and visited those friends at Tulane University for Mardi Gras, and Mardi Gras really changed my life.
Really?
Because when I was at Mardi Gras, I discovered Adderall for the first time.
Oh,
And when I discovered Adderall, that was the flick that switched in my brain, and that's when like I was like, oh, like comedy is like a real thing, because Mardi Gras was crazy, and I just had all these stories. I'm like, I got to get these stories out. You know what I mean? I remember, and I remember I was like at 9 a.m. on the phone with my friend on Adderall, and I spoke to him for an hour straight. Didn't even let him speak. And I was just like, I got to go get these stories out. And that is legitimately when I decided to go do comedy 3 years ago.
That is funny.
I also tried getting an Adderall prescription right after that too, but he said no.
I am dead.
Yep. I remember when I did Adderall, and I was supposed to be studying I did Adderall. Like, okay, relax. Like, what the fuck is going on here? I took an Adderall to study, and I, instead of studying, figured out how we could make my dorm room L-shaped beds so that we could sleep head to foot and put it up on bunk beds and have beds underneath. Like, what the fuck was I doing? I'm like, and it's $300, and my roommate's like, you need like help, sleep, like something. Like, I don't know.
Did you take an L? Did you take an L on the test too?
Oh yeah, the think I like really just wrote about the L-shaped pens the whole test.
I
Well,
think
the
I'm
thing-
like the only human on earth that like hasn't actually like that got through college and never took like a legit Adderall.
I'm not
Like,
okay with prescription drugs. Let's just put that out there. I'm just saying that I was an idiot that did them. Right, Jared? Idiot that did them.
Well, all the teachers in junior high and high school wanted me on them bad, but my mom refused.
Right.
interesting.
Yeah, but now I'm able to control it and like understand it. I don't, and it really did actually change my life and help me focus on what I wanted.
Yeah, you're like
Yeah.
an artist. You're like an
What?
artist. You know how like I think like Jimi Hendrix or someone was like, yeah, like it was LSD that really did it for me. Like,
Yeah.
and just sitting here like, yeah, it was Adderall that did it for me. Like, this is beautiful. Like, you're an artist.
Because I graduate. I have an associate's degree. Not to brag, but it only took me 3 years to get it. And now I'm doing the whole act. Yeah, I might as well just keep going.
We'll stop.
But I graduated and I legitimately did not know what I wanted. And then I went on Birthright, and then that is when I figured it out. And that's when I figured out, I was like, oh, okay, I think I want to go back to school and become a gym teacher. Because I also own over 27 sweatsuits. So, I mean, I didn't really have a choice at that.
Look at all this.
Right. Where are you going to wear all the sweatsuits if you're not a gym teacher? So that's weird.
And,
I don't know.
And you know what the problem is now? I went and got a job. I work as a paraprofessional. You guys know what that is, right?
Mhm.
So I work as a para, and when you work with the Board of Ed, they'll pay for you to go back to school and finish your education degree. But with COVID, like I had, I was working at schools 5 days a week. I was doing comedy. Things were going great. Didn't get a permanent job. I was working as a substitute. But then COVID hit, and then comedy started taking over. And like I started with the OnlyFeehans, I started going on the road, have my own show now. I'm like the job is like really just getting pushed back, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to go back to school because it's like. But then I also, I need money and I got to support myself. I need health insurance.
That's always
a struggle.
Hard. Yeah. And I think that something that is really interesting is the fact that, you did have these like goals, and because of this, like, I think we've like spoke about it in the past, Sam, but because of this like thing that nobody could have, been nice here and go, wow, at 25 years old, I sat in the house for a year. Like that sucks, But on the other end of things, I started a podcast. Like, you started to really pick up on comedy. Like we've been like granted this opportunity to kind of like do something that we didn't like figure it out and like just genuinely put things on like pause for a second.
Oh yeah.
It's a kind of like unique opportunity.
A second to breathe, take a step back. Am I really enjoying what I'm doing? I literally switched my career in like a matter of 2 weeks. I was just like, I don't want to work at my job anymore. Literally, like I like set myself down, was like, I need to just find something new. Like sometimes you just need like a breath of fresh air.
Oh, without a doubt. If you didn't come out of this a different person, you failed the pandemic. You know what I mean?
Amen.
Without a doubt. You thought it. I said it.
Oh, shit. He used us on us. Yeah.
That's what I do in all my relationships. I use your words against you.
That is so beautiful and not,
toxic at all.
Sorry for listening.
Honestly,
my God.
Jared's our biggest fan. So Jared's our first groupie. Jared, anytime. Jared's been to my house before. He made it known.
I've been to Sam's too.
Both Sam's.
Really?
He's made his rounds, yeah.
Sam's been Sam Preet has been to my bar mitzvah.
I got it. I have to find a picture. Wait.
That's so funny. You actually, it's so funny. I noticed when you put Antonio on, one of the photos they used was from my bar mitzvah.
Yup.
So no way.
Yeah.
Everything is full circle.
Yeah. Antonio. Oh, fuck. Let me not say he's a tough guy right now, but he asked to come to mine.
We're keeping that in.
No, he's great. I fucking love him. He was like, "Yo, you didn't fucking invite me, bro."
Yeah. He did that in my Sweet 16 as well. So I don't know. Jared, were you at my Sweet 16?
No, I told you you're a year older than me.
Oh, copy that. Yeah.
He's like, we weren't friends.
No, we were. We have a lot of mutual friends. We definitely hung out.
Jeez, Jared. Oh my gosh.
No, the thing is, because I transferred high schools. I didn't get there. You had your Sweet 16 sophomore year?
Yeah, sophomore year.
I was in Port Richmond freshman year.
Ooh.
Oh, really? I actually Interesting. Yeah, I feel like it was like once like you guys were juniors, we were seniors, like everybody just kind of meshed. But before that, like they're freshmen. So
it was cool. I got 2 freshman years. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
First one I really got bullied a lot, but it's all right.
It's okay.
I'm doing better now, you know.
I think it made you more.
It made me stronger, you know.
I bet those bullies like creep your Instagram.
Oh, without a doubt, it's great. It's cool, like when I have people reaching out now, like out of the blue, just like, yo, dude, see, you're doing great, blah blah blah, keep it up. I'm like, thanks. Come out to a show. They're like, yeah, let me know when. I'm like, I post it all the time.
Yeah, I know. I need like a handwritten like you are cordially invited to Mama's Boy Comedy. Oh my God, Jay? Fine, I'll come. Oh,
you guys should definitely come out. You're missing out.
No, I miss comedy shows so much. I would definitely come out. What are they making you do now? Like are they like? I know that they started them up again, right? So
this weekend, April 2nd is the first day. Comedy clubs are legally allowed back open.
Oh my God! Today's the first day?
Today's April 2nd, the first day they're legally allowed back open. We've been doing comedy. It's been prohibition. It's been fucking dope.
Prohibition.
Wow, like underground.
Yeah, it was super. Like people, like one of the comedy clubs was legitimately doing shows on the trains.
Wow.
I heard about that actually. That's so funny.
Yeah. I was doing shows in parks, rooftops. I did a couple like private shows just like for friends. Like this one show, we were hanging out at an open mic. I'm calling it a show, but I was hanging out at an open mic. We were done with the open mic. It was over. And then as we're walking out, all the comics were walking out. One of the comics was pulling like the speaker. I noticed these 7 dudes just chilling on their like drinking beers. I'm like, hey, you guys want a free comedy show? Jokingly. And they're like, oh yeah, I'll take one. I was like, oh, so what's up? Y'all trying to chill? And they laughed at that.
Oh, they did laugh. Okay.
They laughed at that. And I was like, oh, so is this like your first pandemic? They laughed at that. And I had 2 jokes within 30 seconds. I'm like, all right, let me give them a joke. And I just performed for them right there in a park, just hanging out. And it's like, that's where comedy was. You know what I mean? This summer.
Oh, I gotta chill. I love that. I'm so corny.
No, but it's making people's like lives a little bit easier. And I think that like that's why I love comedy shows so much. And now it's like during the hardest time we couldn't have laughs. Like what the
I know. It's wild.
Yeah. Were there any like live stream comedy shows?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I only did like one, but the live stream, well, that's the whole thing. Like now that's why online was so big, and it's like you had to either adapt or die. And for me, I hibernated. I went and did other crafts. You know what I mean? I baked, I did carpentry, you know what I mean? I spent remember that one free week of premium Pornhub? I diversified the portfolio that week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went and golfed. I got deep into conspiracies. That was bad. I don't know about you. I got deep into conspiracies. That was a bad week.
Oh, God.
Wait, literally, me and my roommate would watch all of the ones. Like, I'm not even going to.
What?
Like,
the Cabal?
No, we watched ones about, never mind. I can't even say it.
It's scary. I had to go and golf for a whole month to clear my head.
I can't even say it because it's so not nice to not even think that it could be true. Wait, so do you think though, I know you were saying about like going back to school and like you're not too sure about like for education. I don't know like what the exact requirements are considering that they're paying for it and stuff. But have you thought about going back for like script writing or like anything?
That has been a thought as well. My plan this year, well, before COVID hit, so my first year of comedy, I conquered all of Manhattan. Conquered is a very strong word to use, but I did all of Manhattan comedy. And then my second year, I was doing all Brooklyn comedy. You know what I mean? Because it is like, there is a bunch of different groups. You'll notice, not anymore, because we really all just became one big swamp. Mm-hmm. But like before it was like Manhattan, alt comedy, you know what I mean? Club comedy, all different scenes. And I was the guy who liked to be a part of all of them. And so my third year, I was going to do UCB and put People's Improv Theater, like sketch writing and stuff like that. And I was even thinking about going back to college for writing and stuff like that too. But then I was like, I could also just learn it myself and teach myself. Like I've written sketches, I put out, videos, and I write my own material. So it's like I don't know how, but you could always get better. And it's like, I don't know, school and tests aren't really for me. So it's like, I don't know.
Totally. Maybe like certifications or something like that. Like just kind of Like I was thinking about going for my master's, and then I said, oh, maybe I'll just get certified and like from NYU.
Right.
It looks good on my resume, and you'll learn something along the way, you know, like.
Yeah, for sure.
It is funny because I asked you because Sam, you took the script writing class too in college, correct?
I actually didn't. I was gonna, but I took media production instead.
Oh, okay. Jess, did you? You can unmute.
Well,
Thank you, Mother.
Enter Jess. I'm so happy she's not muted anymore.
Yeah, no, I took the script writing class a year ago. I actually just occasionally edit it. I'm like, I should submit this to the Screenwriters Guild and like get it approved, and I'll just send it out. And media production is my major, so I've taken like all those classes.
Yeah, but I just remember I actually like loathed the teacher, like loathed her. Like I hated her so much. She had it out for me. I swear, I was like,
Did she have blonde curly hair?
Yes.
Oh, I liked her.
She picked and choose who she liked, and she just did not take liking to me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm definitely like an acquired taste. So she respected it, but I have to say, I did respect her as far as like I like learned things in that class. Like I'm not like maybe this is just me like being like but like dramas are always 60 minutes, comedies are always 30 minutes. I just picked that up. Like I just thought it was like whatever like they wanted to make it. Like and then I was like, oh shit, like that makes sense. So it was like stupid little things like that.
Yeah,
like,
you know what's funny? I actually took oh, sorry to cut you off, Sam.
No, it's okay.
You know what's funny? It's like looking back, I was in media in Wagner. I was in the media program, and that was you know, my highest grades were always in the media program, and so like they taught me script writing and all that, and like I didn't pay as much attention, like I wish I did, but like what we did was we made music videos and we made a TV show, and like when I would do those, I was the one who was like taking initiative. I was like, that's where I really showed my interest, but I didn't know that. And so I look back at it, and I have like YouTube videos, and we have like this TV show that we put up. It's an episode about nothing, and like I really directed it and wrote it and got everyone together for it. I'm like, oh wow, I did that 8 years ago, and here I am now.
And that's really like where it starts,
right?
Yeah.
And it's funny. I went back to Wagner one day to work, and you know Mr. Sims. I don't know if you knew him.
Yeah, Mr. Sims, of course.
Right, and he told me, I was like, yo, can you send me all that script, like notes that like I should have took back then, so I can use them now? He's like, yeah, I got you. He's like, I'll send them to you. But he told me how he uses my video as like an example in the classes. I was like, oh wow, that's pretty dope.
That's awesome.
That's amazing, yeah. And it, you know, it is those types of. I'm definitely like a hands-on learner, like just in general. So like being forced to kind of write my own script, and you know, in the class that I was referring to, and doing a video, like you're kind of saying, I had to do that also in college, and I would make whatever.
Totally.
But hands-on like type of learning, just like would get me excited, you know. And I've realized that even in my job right now is that I loved my job when I was going into the office and I was going on shoots and I was seeing, you know, and I was meeting this person and networking, and now I'm sitting there in front of an Excel sheet and I'm like, this is not what I want to do. Like,
dude, I cannot emphasize that enough.
You know, so I'm having like a little bit of like a meltdown right now because I'm a little bit between like, is it the job that I hate or is it just because the pandemic that I'm hating?
Right.
You know, so I think everybody's kind of having like a crisis, like in crisis mode right now. But like,
I've learned more in the 3 years of doing comedy than I did all school. You know what I mean? Like I'm out in the city, like this, the city is my new, you know, high school. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy for me to walk the streets and actually see people I know on the street now. I'm like, what the fuck? The city, it makes the city so small sometimes. You know what I mean?
The city, it's crazy you said that. The city is so small. I used to think Staten Island was small. Manhattan is like half the size. And I think it's awesome that because a lot of people, I feel like, get a little bit stuck in Staten Island, but it's like the city is so close. Like you have to take advantage of those opportunities.
It's such a world away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sex and the City said it best. She said, New York is the biggest, smallest city in the world. If you don't want to see someone, you're guaranteed to bump into them.
100%.
Her with big, of course. I know, Jared, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? No, I'm just
Jared's like, who's big?
Right.
No, but it's so true. Like,
what are we talking about?
Sam literally ran into her ex-boyfriend twice. I ran into him once, and it's like I've never ever like why.
Every time I did not want to see somebody.
I didn't know the city was the Staten Island Mall. You know.
I literally. Wait, you guys. So, okay, I'll just update the listeners real quick too. So I'm like moving back home temporarily, and I went to Crunch Gym this morning, and like
I was going to ask you if you wanted to go this afternoon. All right.
Maybe I'll go again, walk on the treadmill, whatever.
Ooh,
So, so I go and I'm like, I'm gonna see someone I know. Like, I have to see someone I know. So like an ex-boyfriend, someone's like, I don't even know, maybe like a girl that I beefed with in high school. I'm like, she looks vaguely familiar. Then I saw a teacher from elementary school. I'm like, this is crazy. I felt like I was in like a time warp.
That gym is the worst. Jared, are you still on Staten Island?
Yeah, I'm still living at home.
Oh, okay, cool. Honestly,
It's kind of the move for COVID.
Well, I've been, I guess I'm just a trendsetter, you know what I mean? Because I've been here since before. But, that also lingers in the back of my mind, too. It's just like, that's another thing that, I'm on top of all, like, dealing with the show, dealing with getting out to see people, dealing with, keeping everything in order. It's like so much. But it's like realizing it now that, I want to do this for the rest of my life is great. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's good to just like not have any doubt. Like, it must feel good to just know you're on the right track, and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I think to close this out, we have to know if you've ever bombed a show.
Oh, come on. Of course.
Okay. Tell us the story. Give us
the story?
Yeah, is there like one that sticks out?
Is it like
there's some that people tell me. It's a I don't know if it's a joke. I'm not gonna say it. There's a joke that people are like, yo, that joke. I thought I did well.
Right. Wait, so you didn't even know that you bombed? And I'm like,
no, not really. So some say I did, some say I didn't.
Wait, can you tell the joke? And if it's really like you don't want us to put it in, we could just cut it out. But I really want to hear the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, intern Jess says tell it, so you have to.
Yeah.
Let me preface it by I've never said this joke ever again.
Oh.
This was early on. This was that was one of the ones where I learned. I was like, oh, you can't really do that.
Right.
That joke would kill on Staten Island.
Right. I'm sure. Oh my God. But who told you that's not it, dude?
A few friends. They were like, yeah, that was me. I was like, I thought that was a great set. What are you talking about?
Just the way that it starts is how you feel like it goes. Is that like fair? Like you started it with that and like you felt like you couldn't bounce back with the audience?
I don't know. It was like a weird setup to the room. The light was out in like the corner. It's just like the thing is like I don't really have. I try not to remember my bomb. That's the thing.
Right.
Like,
that's fair.
You try to forget those real quick and like learn what you like, figure out what you can learn from them. But I'm glad my friends have the memory of me saying that, and they laugh about it. And
at least someone laughs about it.
Right. Well, comedy is subjective. That's the best part about it. Some people are gonna laugh, some people aren't, but you learn from it. That's what I think. And I really don't have any main. That would be like the only one really that I can think of.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny though, because you say like, oh, we're from Staten Island, like whatever, but it is probably such like a learning experience for you because we're so sheltered here and like sheltered and like people are calling our bullshit. Like Connecticut people are a truck driver. I'm like, I know. Fucking I know. Like
I fucking know.
Yeah, I've actually gotten better like about it because I've like adapted. When I lived in Connecticut, I adapted to kind of like my surroundings. I was definitely not like prim and proper by any means, but I just adapted to like I'm the only one dropping an F-bomb every 3 words. So maybe I should stop. Maybe I should.
Right.
As long as you're learning and growing, that's really what is important.
100%.
And I think that comedy, like we said, like comedy helps us to realize our bullshit. And
great
like as a comedian, it's helping you like learn like your bullshit. You know what I mean? Like it's
without a doubt.
Grow as a person. So it's just I love comedy, and you know what? Maybe I'll try stand up one day. I'm just kidding.
Hey, there's always a spot on my show. Come through.
Oh my
god! Oh my god! Two Sams take the stage. I'll freaking faint.
Like,
when's the live show? I'll definitely attend.
You know what? We're gonna work on that because I think that pandemic is moving in the right direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna get out there. I'm so scared.
I do want to say Jess has a great TikTok a sketch where she imitates financial bros.
Yeah.
You can unmute Jess.
God.
Yeah, and it's
Like, need
hilarious.
to recite my monologue now.
Yeah, honestly, I think that it's going to be a really great thing when Jess gets out there and starts doing stand-up after the pandemic's over. And I mean,
it's April 2nd. The clubs are open. I'm coming.
right?
Not to brag.
I'm in New
but
Jersey
I'm a
right
pretty-
now, but next weekend I'm down.
Not to brag, but Jared's
yeah. I'm a pretty good person to know. It's just from words of other people. I know everybody. I don't say that. They tell me I know everybody.
I love
You know, it's the worst when like you use other people's words and then they'll be like, humble yourself, bro. I'm like, but people tell me this. What do you mean?
Tell me what's going on next weekend. We're there.
Yeah.
I mean, I got my show. Let's see. Let me check my calendar. I think what's next weekend? The 8th? I think I'm
Something like that.
I'm booked and busy.
Yeah.
Next Saturday I got 3 shows in one night. That's a pretty good night. I'm over
See you
Any
then.
open mics.
Oh, open mics, yeah.
I don't know. I definitely
I'm
want
not on that
to
level
do
anymore.
2 comedy shows. I want to perform as well.
No, open mics are starting to come back. I sent you all the information with the Facebook
Yes.
group, and
I do not understand Facebook.
Oh.
I'm so social media savvy, but I left Facebook in like 2014.
Me too, Jess. I deleted my Facebook. I am like not on there. Also, I feel like I would cringe if I looked at any of the photos I had up. So thank God that shit is like gone.
It's
Like
honestly the only reason I keep my Facebook because I'm like, my boobs at this Sweet 16. How did my father let me leave the house? They're like,
Oh my God, me too.
Like up
I
to
got
your
my
chest.
period for my Sweet 16. That was my birthday present from my own body.
Oh my
And,
God.
like, my boobs just outgrew the dress so much that my family was like, Jess, why did you get one that didn't fit your boobs? I was like, it fit my boobs yesterday, okay? And like the wire started like missshaping itself because of how bloated they were.
Jared, you ever have that problem?
that is
I was pulling up the Sam that Jared knew.
No,
Oh my God. I am.
That's going on the Instagram.
No, I will find a picture of Jared. I have my
You
old
want one of the
computer.
2 of you.
Oh, hold
Yep,
up.
I'll find one.
Sam, you're in that.
Oh, I am. Is that Gaetano?
Yeah, that's
And-
Gaetano. Look at you.
Oh.
Look at you're next to Danielle in the middle. Look at your arm.
My arm is
Wait.
literal anorexic twig.
Now, do you remember why we were all doing that? Look at how. Do you see me in there?
Oh, we're fucking doing like eat out sign.
No, we were going. This was
Oh,
like
we were
my
doing, like-
pose. This was like my pose that I would do, and I'd be like,
Oh my God. For the
Or you just, like,
listeners,
turn up the vignette and like make the picture really yellow and saturated.
wait.
you need to send that to us right now, Jared.
That
"Oh,
is
here's
the most
another one
wild
on
picture.
Nitro."
Oh,
This is Facebook photo. So
this
funny.
is.
Gang symbols, by the way.
Wait, that is
I know.
amazing.
Symbols.
So fucking funny, dude.
Oh my
Wait,
God.
that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I can't wait to look at my computer when we get off this and find crazy ass pictures.
I'm fucking dead. I love this episode so much. It's probably one of my favorites that we recorded.
Yeah, I
Oh,
had
this
so much
is
fun.
so funny. It's
was
great
good.
catching up. You know, this was so fun. I really appreciate catching up with you girls.
Yeah.
I really hope to see you in person soon at a show.
I
That'll
can't
be a lot
believe
of
it
fun.
took us this long is what's alarming to me.
No, that's right. I had to build that clout. You know what I mean? I understand. I
Listen,
understand.
build our own cloud. Trust me. We're still working.
Hey, we're helping each other. That's what it's for.
Exactly.
100%.
Honestly, it's
100%.
I'm
beautiful.
excited. And now I gotta go record another podcast right after this. OnlyFeehans. We shoot every Friday.
Oh, great.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
I'm
that's
very
good.
excited.
You
I
get a
did
little.
What?
Oh, you said you don't drink, right? I was gonna say it's
No, I
Friday.
don't drink. No, I'm slowly stopped smoking too. But we have a
Wow.
we have a sponsorship by this edible lady, so she makes edibles for us.
Ooh.
It's a little hard
Oh.
not to get high, but that's exciting.
It's actually amazing. Like, how do you
Yeah.
come across that sponsorship? Like, I'm getting like jewelry sponsorships. I'm like, no, thank you. I'd rather do that,
Literally.
right?
No, this was a great week. I'm really glad I can end. I was on a couple podcasts this week. Like I said, I did I don't know if you Barstool Pat. You guys know that guy?
Oh, I meant to ask you about that. I saw that
Yeah.
you were on Barstool. That's so cool.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
That's Kerryn. That's I don't want to take credit, but working with Kerryn, she gets me on. She's
That's
really
still awesome though.
she's really in there. And then we did
Bitch.
Yeah.
I gotta listen to this podcast.
she's killing it. I really came out and about on that one. We very open. It was a lot of fun. And then I did another podcast this week called Bye Guys. with I don't know if you guys know Ian Fidance. He's a pretty big comedian, and Zach Amico. But very gay podcast this week, and now I guess I'm on a lesbian one. So really gay podcast.
Is Ian from Smosh? Is that Ian?
Oh, I don't know.
Smosh in like 2011.
No.
He's the only person named Ian I've ever known.
Jared just calls us lesbians, and also the first person's ever called us lesbians.
I can't believe we just got called lesbians.
To be fair, you did call me your daughter a lot of times.
Yeah, like
That's true.
we're her gay moms, and I'm like
That's
not
funny.
opposed to it. I'm like not against it at all.
That's so
I'm
funny.
No.
I had to get one joke in at least, you know.
Oh yeah, well, Jared, you carried this episode. Let me just say that, all right?
No, you girls are great. This was so much fun.
So thank you so much, Jared, for coming on. And if you'd like to follow him, which you should because he's amazing, you can follow him at the Kid Jared. That's all spelled normal, 1 R in Jared. And then this is what's the funky one, at Mama's Boy Comedy. Mama's is spelled MOMMAS, Boy Comedy.
That's how you spell it.
Yeah, and we follow you, you follow us. So if you're having trouble, just go to our page and look at it and figure it the fuck out. But if you also would like to follow Kerryn Feehan, you can follow her at OnlyFeehans, FEEHANS. And yeah, that's all on Instagram. Do you have Twitter and everything?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter as well at the Kid Jared. But yeah, that was our podcast, OnlyFeehans. Follow that. She's Kerryn Feehan, KERRYN. I don't know who spells like that, weirdos. But no, she's great. I try to get my digs in away from her so she doesn't hear them. And
Kerryn, it's Kerryn, not I read it wrong when I was reading the name. Sorry,
it's okay.
I knew it was, and I fucked up. So do you want me to do that?
My mom you're disrespecting there.
I know. I'm literally so pissed off at myself.
Hey, don't talk to my mom like that.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, if you guys can check out my cartoons, I would really appreciate that. That's my animations, cartoons, same thing. Yeah. My manager's pretty upset with me. I call them cartoons, but it's all right.
Oh, that's all right. We call
Wait,
it.
so you have a manager too? Official as fuck.
I was on the phone with an agent a couple weeks ago. He's like, "You're not popular enough. Get more followers."
Oh shit.
Things are picking up though, but you know, it's I'm very anxious, but very excited for the future. This summer is going to be one big jizz fest with everyone.
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm so excited. I cannot wait to check out a show. Honestly.
Yeah.
They're
I'm excited.
They're great. You know, I have big talent on it too. You know what I mean? Soon we'll have Louis C.K.
Oh, all right. I mean, he'll probably like that. The Joker is some Joker.
Yeah, he would like that.
See how he can.
I'll that one time. See what he says.
I'm dead.
Remember when we used to go to the Apple store and take photos?
Oh. Yup. Oh my god, middle school was so weird. We would go to the store, like the mall, the Apple store, and just take pictures all over.
Yeah.
Yep. And then email them to myself. It was crazy.
I did that in the movie theater bathroom. There was one mirror in the bathroom in my town where everyone knew you were at the theater with your friends if you took a picture in that mirror.
Oh, yep. No, we didn't have camera phones when we were in middle school.
Why are you making us seem like we're... Yes, we did.
Sam, you must have been actually, no, I did bring my digital camera out, which is so embarrassing.
I remember. Do you know the Applebee's in the mall?
Yeah, all right.
It's still there. It's like a little square mirror thing.
Yeah, when you walk through.
I would fucking hardcore have photo shoots in that thing with my friends.
Sick MySpace photos, right?
Yep. Literally.
Yep.
Hot as fuck.
So funny.
When me and Jared were dating, he was number 2 on my MySpace.